buy or join. And you could actually earn your freedom as well. Okay? That's just what it was. Okay? Um, unlike Jews and their brutality to the enslaved African, that is documented that they were especially brutal. And that's very funny. Not funny in ha ha, but these people don't want to admit, and they don't like it when you bring it up, because you're anti Semitic, of course, that they had a hand. Not just had a hand, it would never have existed had it not been for them. They would argue, well, Europe wouldn't have us, they kicked us out, and yeah, well, your practices, as you be Jews, is not fitting of a Christian nation. Besides, you say Jesus is boiling in hot excrement. Why would you say that against my Lord and Saviour? You don't have to believe him, but you better respect him if you want to reside in this land, and you shouldn't be. Not one of you should be in this land anyway. That's a fact. By royal decree, 1290, King Edward I Longchamp banished you. Why are you here? I do know that you wanted to come back, and you thought by financing Cromwell that he would open the doors to you. But the bishop, because newly Protestant and you don't understand the relationship that people have with their God, not your God, their God, they wouldn't allow it. And so in 1666, you set about with the first terrorist attack on London, whereby you burnt down the city of London and 84 churches. And we know it was you. And Samuel Pepys sitting up on high, pretty much crying, and he's watching these fires just pop up from nowhere. Just pop up from nowhere. You organised that very well. Very well. There's fires going on over here, but yet there's one going up over there, and one popping up over there. And all these churches are going up in flames. Yeah, there's a documentary out, and those who were accused once. But you're the only people that were accused twice. And I know it was you, because the French were called, of course, the high seas. We're talking about piracy and so forth, and what's going on in the New World. And we're also talking about Catholic Spain and Portugal. Well, England's a Protestant nation, so there are enemies on the high seas. And they are fighting Holland. Well, who's Holland and who's financing Holland? Oh, hang on a minute. Jews got kicked out of England. Where do we think they might have gone? Well, we know where they went. Some went to Spain, because they had brethren there. Loads of them went to Scotland. Oh, yes. Loads went to Scotland. Okay? Is it any wonder Scotland's a kind of drug capital up there, and they've got drink and drug problems up there. That's what they do. Erode your moral fortitude, turn you inside out. But a lot of them went to Holland and set up the Dutch East India Company that went to China and India and traded in the opium trade. And they used their finance again to smash the Winter Palace in 1868, I think it was, or 65 or 68, I can't remember. Got my years mixed up. I have to reread it. And eventually went about destroying China and getting them hooked on opium. That was the East India Company. But the Dutch West India Company, that was to do with slaves. The Caribbean and the Africans and so forth. That's how they got their wealth. So for these people to run around saying there's a rise in anti-Semitic attacks, they're not Semitic, number one. They're just brigands and criminals that go around doing their stuff. Now, somebody would have to watch this video to hear it, to flag it, or I hope not. But if anything happens to this video, I'll go in. And you won't like it. I don't even have to put it up. I'll sell it. How about that? And it'll just get out there. How about that? But when bullies keep making a load of noise and keep pushing that button, at some point, you have to say enough. So they're saying there's a rise of anti-Semitic attacks in the Labour Party. I don't believe it at all. I really don't believe people really give a rat's push about these people. But they do care about interfering in your affairs and dictating to you. One guy called in to Nick Ferrari's show, and I'm listening to him, and I can see that Nick doesn't like where he's going. Because Nick was really kissing and licking the arse of Jews. And he was saying, well, hang on a minute, they did a census in 2011 or whatever it was. And he said, which I don't believe at all, but he said it turns out there was 200,000 and such number Jews in a country of 66 million. Yet these people have undue power, exercised undue power. At which point Nick interrupted and started to run the big canard about, oh, you're saying, well, the BBC is not run by them. Oh, ITV is not run. The guy didn't even say it. That's not what he was saying. He was trying to say, for the minority of people that is in this country, and for the minority of the minority in the Labour Party, and for the minority of minorities that they're claiming is everywhere, really? That's where he was going, but Nick accepted the call because he wanted to drown out and put out another narrative. This pro-Zionist... And another thing, it's Jews. The devil's house is always divided. Always divided. Okay? So you've got two sections of Jews that fight each other. But if you believe they're unified, then they'll put on a face and say they're unified on what you, and it's get you to fight. Because you've got a lot of people, oh, Zionist Jews. What about the Bolshevik Jews? The Bolshevik Jews and Zionist Jews, they can't stand each other. Let's see that go down. But that's a fact. So who are the Zionist Jews? Well, Hitler's Zionists helped create Israel in the first place. And the other Adolf Eichmann, who did speak Yiddish as well. And Nazi, Nazi is short for Ashkenazi. It's not short for the German Democratic Socialist Workers' Party. It just is not, right? So the bottom line is they're making it up. And if someone told you there were pink elephants running around outside and plaguing the little children, you're going to question it. These people, and he calls himself a journalist, and somebody else rang in saying, oh, you're a guy in the streets and you've been a streets journalist for a long time, you know what. I'm like, no, you don't. He questioned nothing. Just question nothing. They just make it up, present it, and keep wrapping it over and bashing us all over the head. It's annoying. The lady does protest too much, I claim, right? And I'm just sick of it. And I think I just heard my last trope on it. So maybe I'll do a really good job on this whole subject and let them have it. I'm holding back because I think just don't piss me off, okay? But I can't stand bullies. That's all it is. I can't stand bullies, and I can't stand liars. You know, I can't bide your company. You know what I mean? I'll pretend you make me look stupid, but whatever. I don't care. You know what I mean? You do you, I do me, right? But when you keep lying and doing the things that you do to destroy people, and you won't admit what you have done to my people and affected my people, where we don't have anything to hand to our children, so they've got a leg in this society. No, but you not only have handed them a false reality, our wealth as well, and now you want to take our birthright. It's crazy. Okay, I'm going to move on to what I heard today. Now, this is something that really irks me, and wherever I am and I'm engaging with people, I say, look, stop this business about statues. Now, I'm sure you've seen me have the Confederate flag up before, Confederate battle flag, and I have it on purpose because I've read about it, I understand it, and pretty much know most of all the battles and generals on both sides. I've done my homework about the antebellum South before the war between the states. and so forth. So I believe I have a fair understanding, and I have materials I can jump to just to refresh at any time. And if I wanted to make a module or a presentation, I think I could do a reasonable job. So when there's been this move, and I think it's probably a George Soros idea, Hungarian Jew, to want to rewrite history by taking down statues that quote unquote offend people. And there's been a lot of Confederate generals whose statues, and General Lee's, that they've been pulling down all over the South. I don't agree with it. I really and truly don't agree with it. I think it doesn't help history, and it's sad that black people, again, not good critical thinkers, and they will erase a history that somebody in 100 years' time would say never happened. How would you know? Your ancestors would have torn down those statues and erased that history so that you don't know. It's happened already. That's why you don't know who you are. You know what I mean? I mean, these people will sack cities. When they sack cities, they tear up everything of yours. So there's no trace of who you were. You don't know nothing. In fact, people, DOS, descendants of slaves, who are in America, and those of the Caribbean, we are completely new people. We are not African. We are far removed from African. There's nothing African about us apart from the colour of our skin, which in many cases has been interfered with because we've got many slave masters' genes running through our veins from one reason or another, either consensual or by rape. It's happened. We're a petri dish people, if you will, a brand new people, okay? We've been created from something and hybrid. And that's the reality. You can sympathize with who you want. You can join anybody's army with all you want. You've got people leaving here to go fight for Syria. I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? But they do it, you know? But the bottom line is, we're new people. We've been recreated by slave masters, and we've been insulted because we're not being made whole and given reparations, because where could we go to? There is no land, there is no culture that is ours. Somebody may say, oh, you can come here and live here, but with the kind of governments that they've got and the brutality that they've got out there's nothing stable out there. I mean, it's impossible. Do you know what I mean? It really is impossible. We are part of the system in which we live, and that's there's the chips that we've been dealt with, or the cards to play with. So anyway, all that to say this. Universities, there's a movement to decolonize the university curriculum. This is what they're calling it now. Some time ago, I think it was about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, an African guy who goes to Oxford, an African brother, I don't know where he's from, Nigeria, he goes to Oxford, some little runt, and he's shouting the odds about Cecil Rhodes's statue. Now I'm like, who the hell are you? Why not just go in there, get your education, and leave? There are people here before you. Instead of you ask me, am I offended? Or have a conversation with the people that have been here, do you know what I mean? From since the 50s, you just come. And how do you get into Oxford from where you come from? Whose son are you? Do you know what I mean? And who's paying you to do this? Making all this, I'll tear down the statue. Who are you? And this is what we need to ask. Don't just let people come in your colour. You know, it's like, Jesus said, many will come in my name and do all kind of things. Well, don't let people who look like you just do all kind of things and think, oh yeah, he's fighting the good fight. No, he ain't. No, he ain't. I'd rather every statue of listen, I'm not quite sure which commandment it is to my shame, but thou shalt create no graven images. But they do. Well, that's a lesson that we could teach these people. Look at this. This is who they celebrate. Then we go home, kids, take your photographs and take your etchings. We go home and I teach you. This is what we do on a Sunday. We go to the park and we have a picnic or whatever it is, but I'll teach you about this guy, and we'll sit down and we'll talk about who this guy really was, so that you understand that the statue is there for me to teach you. I know that other people think he was a great man, but you know the truth. If you remove that statue, you are doing me a disservice and affecting my curriculum for my kids, my progeny, or any children that I would like to educate. Stop your nonsense. You know what I mean? Now, I noticed that a woman The representative was trying to say, well, it's not about taking down statutes. It's about some of these figures putting some context to these people, because often it's one side told. And what about the side of the other people who were subject to whatever it was? I'm like, okay. What about it? If they didn't write it, then you could write it. What's stopping you? Do you know what I mean? The whole argument, I mean, a lot of people get all up in arms quite often over a suggestion or something. And if they give themselves a couple of seconds to say, calm your emotions down, let me think about what is being actually said here, I think they will get more out of it. All right, thanks a lot. There I am, writing my stuff down, bits and pieces, and there I've got my shopping, my bills and my shopping. Oh, this is funny, this is hilarious. Now somebody's going to be zooming up to find out what kind of money I'm dealing with and where's it going and what does that mean? Oh, Lord of mercy. And someone's going to say, well, nobody would have paid attention if you had not said anything. Oh, Lord, this is ridiculous. Well, what it does tell you is how difficult I'm finding life living. But be that as it may, let me just recap on what I've actually said. You know, life is a struggle, and sometimes you could do it a pat on the back or something. You know, a little boost, so that whatever you're saying or the potential that you may have is recognised. But anyway, I spoke about Liam Neeson and the whole knee-jerkinitis, you know, over his issue, and I thought that was a bit silly. I talked about the winner-take-all referendum, which is nobody on the media will actually call it out for what it is. I critique the Lamestream media, the way they are portraying stories, and the popularity with YouTubers and so forth. And there are some good YouTubers, and I'm going to give them a shout out on one of my videos. I'm also thinking about what I should call this one. I spoke a bit about the alleged rise in anti-Semitism or anti-Semitic attacks in the Labour Party, or just a rise in anti-Semitism anyways. It's a lie. And I talked about the Oxford Union and this movement to decolonise the university curriculum. My problem with these people about decolonising and being critical thinkers about these characters and showing the other side, if you're going to do that, then we come back to the Jewish question. You have to come back to the Jewish question and what influences and roles have they played in history. And if you're doing this from the perspective of, oh, Cecil Rhodes was terrible in Africa, well, who financed him? Who was he working on behalf of? Who has the diamond mines now? I think it's an Oppenheimer. That's a very Welsh-sounding name. Not. Who's got the gold out there? Ratner. Oh, that's a very Chinese sounding name. Not. So, you know, we're going to be critical. This is the thing about the left. They pull their punches, and I don't believe that they are truly there for the people. They are just another excuse for dividing people and causing problems with this intersectionality crap and pretense to really give it a proverbial when they really don't. Because if you're going to talk about stuff, then you have to talk about the bankers. If you're going to talk about capitalism, how far does capitalism go? And why is capitalism no longer here? Oh, on a small scale. Yeah, well, we're all capitalists on a small scale, on a micro scale. I want to do the best that I can be. I want, you know, the benefits of my labour and my intelligence and my physique to pay well for me so that I can survive. That's capitalism. But we live in a kleptocracy that controls plutocrats, that keeps the agenda going. And the banks are owned, and the media is owned, as is the water company owned, and as your banks, water company, your electricity, all owned. One might just suggest your politicians too. But I mean, you know, that's just me. So if we're going to be critical about it, well, we have to be critical, because some people are critical to say, look at the fault there, but they're not saying, look at the fault everywhere. Okay? And for those people who are Marxists, I mean, you've got to be, if you're a Marxist, you're an idiot. And I mean in the nicest way, you're a useful idiot. That's what Vladimir Ilyich Ilyanov. Why did these people change their name? But he did. Lenin called them useful idiots. I don't know which book it is in. Then you've got Lev Bronstein, called himself Trotsky. And then you've got Vissarionovich Jugatsvili, called himself Stalin. Oh, I suppose we could go on. I mean, I can't remember what Judy Garland's real name is. And I forget Al Jolson's real name. And there's quite a few of these people who change their name to fool people because they just don't want to be honest. Anyway, I'm not going into that. It is what it is. So I think I'll just leave it there and see how this goes. It's probably about half an hour to 40 minutes. So until next time, I bid you farewell and have a good week.